Good morning, students. I am Navdeep Dhaliwal, faculty of RI College of Engineering and IT, Electronics and Communication Department. Today we will discuss about DME, distance measuring equipment. So these are my session outlines. First we will discuss about DME basics, and then DME frequency band, and then DME general principle, and then block diagram of DME, and then DME pulses, and then the output of DME, and then slant range, and at the end we will discuss about DME ground station. So let us start with first agenda, that is basics of DME. So before we go into the detail of this, let us first understand what do we mean by secondary radar. So far in our radar system, we are assuming that the transmitter and receiver are at the same place. Transmitter send a signal and the target will be scattering that signal. The return signal from the target will be received and processed to get the range and angle information. So here the signal is traveling twice the distance, and hence we need high amount of power at the transmitter for operation of the receiver. So this is not the case with the secondary radar. There we will have a primary transmitter which will transmit low power signal at the target. There will be another receiver which we receive the signal with certain amount of delay. It will transmit another signal that will receive the at the primary receiver point and processed to get the distance or angle information, etc. So a radar which will have two transmitters and two receivers will be known as secondary radar distance measuring equipment. That is a case of secondary radar. So here from the aircraft we will send signal towards the ground station, and the ground station antenna will receive those things, process it, and will certain amount of delay it will transmit another signal that will be receiving at the aircraft, and the total delay will be used to get the distance indication. So as in figure shown here, you can see the distance is from the ground station under slant range is indicated, that is 20 nautical miles to 5 nautical miles variation you can get. Those the aircraft is fly at the same altitude from the slant range. You can also estimate exact height above the ground by using standard trigonometry. So a typical equipment placed at the ground as shown on the right side of this slide. DME provides information on the distance from the aircraft to the ground station. It is used to establish position along an airway and also to establish hold points. The DME operates in the range of 1025 MHz to 1150 MHz. In the aircraft, the ground will be operating basically at 1025 to 1087 MHz, that is 63 MHz below the center frequency, and 63 MHz above the center frequency, that is 1088 to 1150 MHz. So this gives 126 channels, and they will be two codings X and Y to double the capacity. So the general principle is airborne transceiver transmits a pair of pulses spaced at 12 microsecond for mode X and 30 microsecond for mode Y. Ground transmitter receives the pulses, waits 50 microsecond, and then transmits another pair of pulses back to the aircraft. Airborne transceiver measures the measures time between transmission and reception, subtracts the 50 microsecond delay at the ground station and multiplies by the speed of light and divided by 2 to get the range information. So this is very simple, but to get more complicated, when we want to serve more than one aircraft, we need a method of distinguishing among the signals from up to 100 aircrafts. This is done essentially by generating a random set of pulses and correlating with the replies to determine the correct ones. So the block diagram of DME airborne transponder is shown in this figure here, where in we have a crystal controlled synthesizer which can generate 126 spot frequencies around 45 megahertz. This is multiply the output power of the final amplifier is in the range of 50 watt to 1 kilowatt. There are two modes we can operate. One is search mode and the one is track mode. The receiver of the interrogator can operate in both the modes. The transmitter waveform triggers the variable delay wave from which in turn the trailing edge triggers the 20 microsecond gate impulse. The variable delay causes the gate impulse to move on the time axis at rate controlled by the rate of increased by the duration of the variable delay waveform. If the rate is synchronized with the rate of occur and received pulse converted to the signal pulses, all the pulses will pass through the gate, otherwise the number drafts down drastically. Once a large of pulses is indicated by the counter system is switched to track mode. The pulse operation rate is then dropped to 25 pulses per second and automatic tracking is achieved. The accuracy is up to 150 meters. The transponder began use simpler equipment with more complexity, except that no range in circuit is required. It operates at only one pair of frequencies. One frequency pair is for reception while another one is for transmission. Different airports are given different pairs and the pilots known about it. The beacon transmits identification signals for a period of 3 seconds once every 37 seconds when the normal chain of random noise pulses are suppressed. The received pulses are shown in this diagram. So if they cross the detection threshold, they will identifies as a pulse. If it will below, it will identify as noise, and time duration is also indicated. So this is given to the block diagram of the system as shown in the diagram below, and the input output is done through the threshold detector like this. So what are the DME outputs? The output will be distance, and if you have a differentiate about this, it can be speed, and the distance by velocity gives you the time to station. Also the last two are valid only if the aircraft is going directly towards or away from the ground station. Normally the DME measures slant range to the station. What we means by the slant range is direct distance from the aircraft to the DME station location. From this we can also estimate the altitude and the range on the ground. So the ground station simply receive a pulse pair, inserts the 50 microsecond delay and retransmits it. So this is the basic operation of a DME ground station. So to reduce the effect of reflections, it will not reply to another integration for about 60 microsecond, or what we call is at that time. So to improve the operation we normally go with a quitter. So what is quitter? The ground stations transmits 27,000 pulses pairs per second regardless of the number aircrafts. Interrogating the extra pulses pair are called quitter. If there are no enough interrogators to make a 27 pulse pairs to improve the performance of ground station, we normally go with the facility called quitter.